The Marvel Cinematic Universe had a downgrade in quality since the end of Phase 3. People have attributed this to the weak villain of Kang, but I don't think that's the main issue, because Thanos barely appeared in the story until Infinity War. People have said that the lack of planning is the issue. In this video, I believe I can explain in detail why the planning was bad by comparing the release schedule of the Glory Days to the Dark Days. The Glory Days had three types of movies. Core character movies were movies based on a core character of the story. These were Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, and Cap. The reason they were core characters is because they each had a solo movie before the first team-up movie, where they all finally assembled. A team-up movie is any movie where the core characters team up. These are mostly Avengers movies. Finally, a side character movie is any movie not based on the core characters. Phase 1 had 5 core character movies, straight, and then a team-up movie, establishing the 4 heroes as the core characters. Phase 2 had 3 core sequels, Iron Man 3, Thor 2, and Cap 2. It had 1 team-up in Avengers and 2 side characters in Guardians and Ant-Man. Phase 3 had Cap 3 and Thor 3 as sequels to core movies. Cap 3 could technically count as a team-up. It had 2 team-up movies in Avengers 3 and 4. It had sequels to veteran side characters in Guardians 2 and Ant-Man 2. It introduced new side character movies with Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Black Panther, and Marvel. Spider-Man even got a sequel in the same phase. As you can see, each phase had at least 1 core movie and 1 team-up movie. The core characters continued to establish their role as core characters by having sequels. Meanwhile, other side characters like Guardians and Ant-Man increased their influence with sequels. Now, let's look at the Dark Days. Just the movies. Who are the core characters? I don't know. What's defined as a core character in the Glory Days? 1. Being one of the first characters to get a solo movie before meeting in a team-up movie. 2. Getting multiple sequels. Despite being in Phase 5, 2 phases in, the first requirement does not exist for any movie because there hasn't been a team-up yet. The first Avengers movie is scheduled for Phase 6. In other words, the story hasn't established who the new main characters of the universe are. What about sequels? Most of the sequels that exist are given to former side characters, like Spider-Man, Strange, Black Panther, and Guardians, but I can't definitively call any of them core characters because they don't have the stats to back it up. Iron Man and Cap had 3 movies in 3 phases, while Thor had 2. The 4 I mentioned, plus Ant-Man and the Marvels, each have had 1 movie in the Dark Days so far. So I can't even tell whether they're still side characters or they've been upgraded to core characters. Thor is the only core character with a sequel, but at this point, he might as well be a side character. Just because he was a core character in the Glory Days doesn't mean he'll still be a core, especially since the 2 mainest core characters had already died. Outside of that, the movies are filled with new side characters that haven't had sequels yet, which combined with the lack of team-ups means they don't fit the bill of a core character either. The major problem with the Dark Days is that there are no core characters or team-up movies, which is what made the Glory Days so powerful, regardless of the writing quality in each movie. What is in store for Phase 6 might change, but so far, there's Fantastic Four, Spider-Man 4, Strange 3, and 2 Avengers movies. These 2 movies sound like a climax similar to Avengers 3 and 4, but the story isn't prepared for that. There hasn't been a single team-up yet, and the story is being thrusted into its climax. The sequels could potentially cement Peter and Steven as core characters, but once again, it's too late for that. It won't make much of a difference. The solution was pretty simple if you ignore the complicated rights behind characters. The original 4 worked as main characters because it was true to the comics. Look at the most popular crossover stories in Marvel Comics: the Infinity Trilogy, Civil War 1 and 2, World War Hulk, Secret Invasion, Avengers vs. X-Men, Secret Wars. Who are the main characters in these stories? The Avengers, typically Iron Man and Cap, the Fantastic Four, or the X-Men. The core Avengers were the cores in the Glory Days, but by the end, 2 of them were killed off and 1 was neutered. The logical solution to continue the universe is not to try and scrape together what characters you have left and force them into roles where they carry the universe on their backs. The logical solution is to get characters from the comics who've already carried the universe on their backs and make them do it again in the movies, just like the Avengers did. That means either the Fantastic Four with Reed as the main character, or the X-Men with either Cyclops, Xavier, or Wolverine as the main character. I personally think Wolverine would have been the safest bet, since his character already became iconic due to movies, and he has the most room for development as a protagonist, similar to Iron Man. Reed would have been a strong choice because his enemy is Doctor Doom, a character who was once the main antagonist of the whole universe in Secret Wars. Or you could do both. Ideally, Phase 4 would have started with a Fantastic Four movie and then an X-Men movie. At the end, there would be a team-up. Then each phase would have core character and team-up movies. This isn't as easy to do because the 4 and the X-Men are naturally teams. You can't make a Johnny Storm or Cyclops solo movie like you can with the Avengers, but it's better than what we have.